What's going on, beautiful people? Soulfully Famous is in the kitchen, and 'tis the season. Spring is upon us, and it's back to starting these events. I really miss you all. I'm excited. I'm excited for spring and summer and fall because I'm ready to get back out there with my tent to serve y'all the goodness. So you want to come check us out. We're going to have all the goods, definitely some vegetarian options.
When we think of a business that is strengthened by people, when we think of a service that is 100% dedicated to the people, when we think of a goal of having an investment into the community of people through the business and the service that you provide, one of the names that should come to mind is Soulfully Famous. Chef Lory Thomas, who runs Soulfully Famous, is cooking up food for everybody. It sounds kind of cliche, but this food is made with love and hurt and pain and joy, all different types of emotion that we feel. Chef Lory puts into her food. She does it with a passion. She wants to connect with people and help. Through the service of food for people, Chef Lory has found this goal. It's not easy, but nothing in life that's worth it is. And as busy as Chef Lory is, with everything that she has going on top of Soulfully Famous, she still wakes up every morning looking for ways to help the people in her community and in neighboring communities, all through the food that she makes and provides. So let's get to know Chef Lory Thomas. Let's get to know how Soulfully Famous came to be. And we can do that by tuning in right now and listening in. This is Chef Lory Thomas's journey. And these are
the Journeyman Chronicles.
Welcome back to another episode of the Journeyman Chronicles. You have entered episode 31's realm. We're about to hit you off in the 30s with a podcast focusing on people's journey. The journey of this podcast has been exciting. It's been remarkable. It's been frustrating. It's been delightful. It's been worth it. And I look forward to continuing providing more episodes for this podcast. So here's the proverbial toast for the next 30 episodes. We are entering episode 31. Like I said, I'm excited. I got to sit down and talk with Soulfully Famous's very own Chef Lory Thomas, who has energy for, let me tell you something, for somebody who doesn't get much sleep, and you're going to find out in this interview that this woman is busy, and she don't even sleep. She takes naps. I mean, with a home life dedicated to her children and this business that she's dedicated to, and who knows what else she's trying to fit in there as far as, a social life. Sometimes you got to go and have friends and have a good time. You got a love life, you got friendships, there's so much going on in this woman's life. So I got to sit down, I got to talk to her. I wanted to know about Soulfully Famous, and I got to learn so much more. I'm excited to share this interview with you. The night that we did this interview, Chef Lory showed up and brought me some food, and I was grateful. I took some home, and my wife and mother-in-law enjoyed it. She gave the Journeyman Chronicles had some baked macaroni and cheese. I believe there was like some Parmesan chicken, the garlic Parmesan chicken, I believe, and it was, my favorite was white rice, red beans, but it was a Creole red beans with the Holy Trinity mix. She said it was with peppers, onions, and celery. I believe I got that right. Let me tell you something. It was fantastic. I don't eat cheese, so I didn't eat the macaroni and cheese, but my wife and my family members took care of that, and they loved it. So look, I can go on for days about how much I love food, and maybe one day I'll dedicate a podcast just to that. I was just talk about food, but when we talk about why we're making food and the emotions that we're feeling, how that can be put into something, they always say that if you put emotion into the passion that you love doing, that's God's work, because that's going to be the best that you'll ever make. You're putting all your emotion into it. And Chef Lory talks about how she could be angry or frustrated or happy or ecstatic or tired, but she's going to put all that into the food that she makes, and that's what makes it so damn good. So on top of Soulfully Famous, she's also doing a lot of shit for the community. I don't want to get too much into it right now, because I'd rather just have it right here for you to listen to, and I got it for you. I hope you enjoy it. This is episode 31. We're talking to Chef Lory Thomas. Let's go.
Pointed about something, or even if there ever seems to be like a hint of that, you're very much like, no, I will not let that happen.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. So obviously I want to talk about Soulfully Famous, but before we get to that, I just want to really get to know who you are and where you're from and what you've been doing with your time lately, because I know cooking and food is taking up a large percent of your time. And but watching you and reading your posts, it's taking up so much so that you even felt the need to kind of let people know, like, hey,
chill out.
Yeah, pump the brakes.
Calm
a little
down.
Bit. Yeah. Which I think is one could say these are good problems to have, but I'm sure it can be stressful.
It is, and it's crazy because you don't want to sound ungrateful, but sometimes too much business can be bad, because then you'll lose your value. You don't want to start to, how small mom and pops, they get large corporation and then it's garbage. You know what I mean? So I want to stay true to, the food that I put out. And if I keep trying to take everybody in, then I'm like, oh, whatever, just throw it in there. You know what I mean? Just trying to make the order. And that's not what I want to do. That's not what I want to do. So in order to keep it under control, I was like, just get in line. Just give me a minute, please.
The last thing you want to do is like make it about the number and not the person.
Absolutely. Everything that I do is personal.
Yeah.
And that's why my food is good, because I'm giving people an aspect of myself. So like you said, like I just try to greet people, you know what I'm saying? How I want to be greeted. I've been in the industry for so long. So I know the do's and the don'ts and what I would have wished I had as a customer, or you know what I mean? Just being in the whole world of it all. So I try to do things how I think they should have been done.
Awesome. Do me a favor real quick. Just straighten that mic out for me towards you.
Is
there
this
you go.
good?
Perfect.
Okay,
That's
great.
Perfect. Yeah, I just want to make sure we hear you.
I'm super loud.
Yeah, it's all good. So am I. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I need to tone that shit down a little bit.
Take it down a notch.
No, but I like the idea of making things personable, because you're right. People like to be, even though it's if someone's, I don't want to say smart enough, but people have common sense and they should know, you're doing a lot of work for a lot of people, but people do like to feel like they are your attention is on them. And so marketing the personality trait of your business is important to you.
Yep.
And no matter how successful, and of course we're wishing tons of success for Soulfully Famous, but no matter how successful you want to become, you don't want to lose that ability to know the individual and be patient with that
Absolutely.
person.
Absolutely. Like you said, like I try to treat every customer like they're my first and my last, because ever since the pandemic, so many businesses opening, even in the like food truck industry, like it's so many. And out of all these people, y'all came to me. And it makes me feel very special.
Absolutely.
So I want to make sure that I make them feel special, and then they come back.
How long has Soulfully Famous been active?
Not long at all. So every time when someone asks me about Soulfully Famous, I say, Soulfully Famous is a year and a half young.
Okay.
Because we started in the midst of the pandemic, like a lot of businesses, you know what I mean? So let's see. I think I started in like 2020, maybe. No, I feel like 2019, but nah, it's got to be 2020, because my daughter was born in 2020, and that's when everything went to like, shit,
Shit, absolutely.
So, 2020, and I was kind of just bored. I was going through a lot of like postpartum depression. I went through a breakup, It was a lot, the pandemic, you know what I mean? And it was just too much. You did an interview with Mama Leche.
Yeah.
She was one of my coaches. I
Okay.
breastfed. So yeah, you got a great catalog, by the way. So shout out
Awesome.
to you.
Thank you.
Keep
Thank
doing what
you.
you're doing. I listen to a lot of your stuff on Anchor. So
Thank
I'm
you.
just so grateful to be here.
Yeah, me
and
too.
be
I'm glad
one
you're
of the-
here.
Yeah, I feel like a celebrity. So yeah, Mama Leche, she was helping me get through a lot of that stuff that I was going through when I had my baby. And I just felt like I needed something to take me out of this depression that I was in. So I started doing like tumbler cups with epoxy and resin and like glitter and making t-shirts with my Cricut and then I just started going back to cooking because I cooked a long time ago. I had like a little business or whatever. And I was doing platters like everybody was doing platters in the pandemic. And it got to a point where I was like, look, everybody's doing platters. Like, it's crazy because I can't make any money because everybody's doing it. So I'm like, what can I do to make myself stand out? And I'm like, you know what? I gotta go legit. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they was the food, you get PUA, food stamps, money was just everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was not an issue. It was not an
Just ignore
issue
that.
for us to get food. So I was like, they can go in anybody. What's going to make it different for me? I was like, I got to get licensed and insured because I had people. I used to work at the parking authority for a couple of years. I was a supervisor. And before that, I was actually one of the enforcement officers. So I knew people there that were like in political parties and stuff like that. And they wanted to do luncheons. And, I knew people that were managers and CEOs of buildings, like old folks buildings. And they wanted to do holiday parties because the pandemic shut down all these like huge catering companies. And they were looking for people to like still like service their clients.
Yeah.
And I had to turn a lot of people down because they wanted to make sure for their business and their company was I licensed and insured. And I had to say no. So I was like, you know what? I cannot keep going out here like this. So I became licensed and insured. And then the next struggle for me was finding the kitchen. And I searched and I found one. And then
Where'd you find it?
it's in East Petersburg, Persephone and Rue. A lot of food truck companies there. We're talking about Penny's, Penny's ice cream.
No.
Oh, their food is their ice cream is so good. Blazing J's is there.
Yeah. Okay.
Nano
Okay.
Grill.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They actually have a company. It's called the Traveling Tap.
Okay.
So they're bartending on wheels.
Nice.
Scoop-a-dough. I don't know if you heard of Scoop-a-dough.
No.
Scoop Endo is there. So they're Meet the Browns. A lot of people. Stephanie Stirred Up Steph. She does tacos. She was there.
It's like a community of.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Character Coffee, Colorful Macaroons. Man, the Sink on Prussia. So I met them and I just started like asking people like, how long you been doing it and what have you been doing? And I ran into Colorful Macaroons, her husband, and it's funny because when I started, I was like super intimidated. I was like meeting all these people and I'm like, oh God, little me selling like little dinners, And I'm like, well, what do y'all do? What do y'all do? Like, tell me about your business. And little did I know, they was in the same boat I was in. They started off their business. They're new. They just found this kitchen too. They're struggling for money like myself. And I'm like, it was like a great relief on my shoulders because I always small mind myself like, I put myself in a corner and it's like, no, like you're in the same boat as them, like you can go ahead and you're great. So I met the husband of California Macaroons. He's like, oh yeah, we do events. And I was like, events? He's like, yeah, you should do it. You should just go on Facebook and see what's in your local neighborhood, because at that time I was still doing platters and
If they do that again, I want to.
Okay.
I don't want to let that keep interrupting us. Go ahead, though.
So I was doing platters and I realized that a lot of my time was being taken up cooking the meal, waiting for people to come pick their meal. Because, when you cook in a commissary kitchen, you're paying hourly. You're paying hourly to be there. And that is a lot of food truck struggle, is finding a kitchen and finding an affordable kitchen, because the money that you're cooking, the time that you're spending to cook, it's money. Like I spend maybe 5-7 hours, that's over like $200.
Wow.
$250, sometimes 300, depending on the kitchen, all for one day. I was having invoices like $1,000 invoices, and I was only making like $500 worth of money in platters. So I'm like, yeah, I can't do platters no more.
Yeah.
Screw this. It's over, because people were playing games and people didn't want to pay in advance, and then people would not show up for their food, and then I would be waiting and it would get cold, and then I was doing delivery as well. Like, I would drive all the way to Coatesville. I was driving to Philadelphia.
Wow.
I was driving to Reading. I was driving to Allentown for people to get their food, because people saw my post on social media. So I had like little fleet. Like I sent my mom to Philly. I sent my boyfriend to Coatesville. Like, I was doing local deliveries. We were just trying to get it. And I realized that at the end of paying everybody, I was left with smaller amount than what I was making when I was at home. I was like, no, F this. I'm going to see what's up with these events. And my first event was Mariner Market. Man, they freaking loved me. And I left out of there with no food. I made better off than all the vendors there that day. Oh, wow. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm coming back. Count that money.
Absolutely. Well, that's what you got to do. You got to find where you can get the money, and obviously the people and the attention as well. So it's a double whammy for you, I'm sure. Yeah.
It was love. It was the people treated me. It was amazing atmosphere. The energy was amazing. So I made great money. The people loved the food. They asked me if I can come back. I was like, hell yeah. And then the most amazing thing happened. I go to sleep. I wake up and bing, 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 bing. My phone's going crazy. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And it's people posting my food on all the social medias. And like, I gotta try that. So I'm like, this is crazy. Like, I was just like, this is, I cannot wrap my mind around it. And even to this day, like, we do our events and there's freaking lines around the corner. And I'm like, oh my God. Or like when people come, they're like, yeah, we saw that you were going to be here on Facebook. I'm like, oh, you saw that I was going to be here and you came to see me and you came to eat my food. Like, that means so much to me. You could have went to McDonald's. You could have went to Burger King. You could have went anywhere, but you say, oh, I want some Soulfully Famous today. Like, that's so special to me. It really is.
And they make the effort, and they're driving out and they're standing in line. And, and that has to make you, obviously it makes you feel special, but it's also like a boost in your confidence.
It does.
When it goes back to you feeling like you're meek and you can't do this, then you see that and you're like, oh, not only do I know I can do this, but I'm ready to do it again.
Right.
So when you've got so let's talk about the turnout, and let's talk about, like, you've done this now for a year and a half. The pandemic, like many businesses and like many people that I've been talking to that are doing things, the pandemic is where it started, and it makes sense now that you're kind of looking at it. It makes sense, but I'm sure at that moment that was a scary idea to start doing something in the middle of everything upside down.
Yeah, it was scary. So I stopped cooking before. So
you were cooking before.
Oh yeah, baby. I'm from the School of Hard Knocks, baby. I'm from the School of Hard Knocks. I'm a line cook at heart.
Okay, yeah.
So I when I was when I went to high school in Coatesville, I went to Coatesville High School, and then right next to Coatesville High School, they had a technical school, Cat Brandywine. So I would do half my schooling at Coatesville, and I would go to technical school and do my culinary. So I graduated with 2 diplomas, one in culinary, one in just regular, the general ed. So and then after I graduated, I went to culinary school and I got an associate's. And after that, I started line hopping. I was cooking at all the different fast food, all the different. Fast food was like the beginning when I was a teenager. Yeah, my first job was Wendy's, but I was working at IHOP, Golden Corral, Bonefish Grill, Ruby Tuesdays, Olive Garden. Let's see, I did some fine dining at the Mount Hill Tavern. Okay, and I hopped in, and I can get down with the best, baby. Like I was one of the only females on the line because. I have great attention to detail. I was fast. My food didn't look like shit when I put it out, and my food was good. And even the managers, they would get on their break. They're like, "Hey, Lory, I'm about to take my break. Can you make me something?" Yeah. I'm like, I got you. You know what I mean? Like I've even had Expo get him off the damn line. Yeah. Lory, get in there. And I'm like, I got this. Boom, 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 boom. Like, you're moving too damn slow. Like, I'm from the School of Hard Knocks where his tickets flying everywhere. There's shit all over the floor. 86 that, 86 this, service don't. It's cold. Put it back on the. Like, that's where I get my speed and my efficiency from. Like, I try to make sure that the customers don't wait too long for their food. But we do a lot of frying, like chicken and stuff. So the customers are waiting, but I'm doing some things to make sure that that is not an issue anymore. But yeah, I remember
it's worth it. People will wait though.
They always say they're like, oh, we had to wait so long, but it was worth it. It was freaking delicious. So yeah, keep up the good work or whatever. But back to the story I had on the line. I always had crazy stories, but the one in particular I will never forget is I was working at IHOP and I was doing the grill, and we do the omelets on the flat top, and I could do 6 omelets at a time, all at a time. And this big crowd came in and they all ordered the big steak is what it's called, and it's got steak, tomatoes, all this crap in it, right? And I made them all together. They all came out at the same time, all fresh, hot, and then I'm minding my business. We all chilling. You know how the cooks is in the back.
Yeah.
And they're like, manager comes, who make these? Who make these omelets? I need y'all out here right now. I'm like, what did I do? Oh my God, what did I do? And like, I need you out in here in the dining room right now. I walk in the dining room. They're all standing up, standing ovation. I'm like, get the frick out of here. It's crazy. So, this cooking has just always been a part of my life. And then the last straw for me was I was working at Bonefish Grill. I was doing all the stations. I was a prep cook. I did salads. I did fry. I did grill. I did saute. And there was people on the line. There was men on the line that was making more money than me, and I was doing more work. And at that time, I was a single parent of 2. And I'm like, look, not only do I need more money, I need to get out of here so I can pick my kids up from school, like from daycare, because I was getting charged extra money because I kept picking my kids up late. You know what I mean? And they just didn't respect that. So the last straw for me, and I was like a week away from getting my week's paid vacation. I was going to go see Kevin Hart and just enjoy. Like I work my ass off.
Sure.
I work my ass off, and that was my time. And I just said fuck it, and I made a scene. I was like, fuck this. I slammed the oven. I fucking quit.
Yeah,
it's bullshit. And I had bills. Like, it was an impulse decision to quit. And I just knew when I walked out that door that I was not coming back. So I'm like, shit, I still got to make money. I still got to do what I got to do. At the time, I was living in New Holland. And I'm like, fuck it, I'm just going to sell dinner. So this is before the pandemic.
Okay,
This is back in 2013, 2013, 2014. And I was knocking on businesses. I was knocking on pharmacies, barbershops, salons, libraries, insurance companies. And I was bothering them. I made menus every week, different food every week. And I was bothering them. Oh, this one I'm making, this one I'm making. And I wore them down because when I first went in there, you know how it is. People, they like, who the fuck are you coming up in? No, I don't want to buy. No buy. And I wore them down. I started giving out samples like, come on, just try it. It's really good. I promise you. I'm not here to like scam you. Like, I'm trying to feed you. You know what I'm saying? And after a while, I wore people down. They started buying my shit. I started posting more on social media. People from Coatesville, Philly started buying it. And next thing you know, I was making more money than I was making on the line than at the restaurant. So I'm saying, damn, I'm on to something good here.
Yeah.
And then one of my customers, she worked at the salon, and she was like, oh, your food's amazing. I have a wedding of 250. I would love for you to cater it. That was my first time ever catering. I catered a wedding of 250 by myself. My feet was hurting. My back was hurting. I had a headache. I was over it. I said, fuck that. I never want to cook again. Fuck it all. And I just quit. I quit cooking. And I pursued a criminal justice degree. I went back to school for criminal justice. Wow. I was going to be a PO, juvenile probation. And
where'd that come from? Where'd the whole criminal justice?
Well, see, I feel like I'm a humanitarian at heart, and whatever I do, I always want to make sure that I'm taking care of the people. And in the criminal justice system, we always worry about the offenders and never the victims. Sure. And I always want to be a part of the solution and never a problem. So I feel like, what can I do to still make a difference and still like be hands-on and not be cooking? Yeah. So I was like, fuck, criminal justice. There's plenty of jobs in that industry. I know for a fact that I would never not have to I would never not have a job in the criminal with a degree in criminal justice because there's something they need. The need for it is there. So I was like, I'm gonna do that. So I got a bachelor's in that, and at that time I was working full time. I was working at the prison in Lebanon. I was working security at Securitas, and I was in school full time. Single parenting my 2 kids. Wow. And it was a lot. I finished school. I was pregnant. I was about to go on my internship. Pandemic. So at that time, I quit security, quit the prison. I was just working at the parking authority. I worked my way up from the parking authority as well. I was started at parking authority before, like when they were new, when the city stopped doing it, and then like the real parking authority, the ones that are out here now doing it.
Yeah,
I stepped in when they were fresh.
Oh, okay.
Like I was like one of their first members. And I was making like $12, and I just moved my way all the way up to supervisor. I was like making $21 an hour. Like it was great. Had my own vehicle, had my own phone. What y'all doing? You need to get back to work. I had my own little computer. I was doing good, but it was time for me to go because I wanted to reach higher heights. And so I was done school. I was pregnant. I needed to do an internship. I couldn't work full time, do an internship, and be pregnant. So I had to let one go. And at that time, my foot was already out the door. So I was like, all right, this job, I quit. And pandemic happened. So that kind of was a sign from above. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for some reason, I got my ass back in the damn kitchen.
Yeah,
here I am.
Well, I mean, it was such a long detour that you took with the criminal justice, and then you have, you were going through so many different avenues of cooking, and then you have the finale exit out of Bonefish Grill. Which is totally understandable because sometimes everybody gets to their point where they know what the consequences are and it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's almost like you know what, I'm fine. Let me entertain that because I'm tired of it. And to finally hit that and find yourself. What would you say now? The pandemic was 2020. That was 2014. So this is like a 6-year journey of everything you just told me.
Yeah.
Pandemic starts. What was it about the food and cooking that brought you back?
It was a release because, during that time I was just going through so much and I needed to get my mind off of things. I just wanted to feel better inside. So that's kind of what it was. And I first started selling off to family and friends and it just expanded. It just happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I still do. I still exercise my criminal justice degree, if you will say.
Sure.
Because I'm a youth advocate. So Soulfully Famous currently has 3 jobs. She's running around like a crazy person right now.
Look at you, yeah.
She's running around like a crazy person right now. So I work overnight with juveniles. I'm a youth advocate at a placement center. And that's kind of when I work overnight, that's kind of when I do like all my computer stuff, like sending out invoices, responding back to customers and stuff like that. So I do that. And then sometimes, we're short of staff right now. We're still dealing with everything in the world where we're short of staff.
Yeah.
Prices are inflation is crazy right now. Yeah, it's crazy. So sometimes I work like 16-hour shifts on top of whatever else I'm doing. So I work that overnight, then I come home, get my kids ready for school, and then I'm at Crispus Attucks. I've been passed the baton to be the cook at Crispus Attucks. So I would explain to you that I work for CAP because I'm there part-time Tuesday through Thursday, cooking meals for the community, doing stuff at the food bank, and then all while still taking care of Soulfully Famous stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to get cooking time in to cook for shit I got going on the weekends. You know what I mean? And it drives me nuts because I always think, how the fuck am I going to get that shit done?
Yeah. I'm thinking like, when do you sleep?
I take naps. As of today, I probably going on maybe like 3-4 hours. I got some good sleep today because see, the food bank was today and it doesn't start till later. But my other job had a staff meeting and my kids had early dismissal. I had to pick them up from school. I took them to the job. I'm like, look, I got my kids. Like, fuck you want me to do? Like, and it's been crazy. Like I've took my kids to Golden Corral because I had no sitter and I had them sit at the dining like, go sit over there, don't sit down. And I used to do the make eggs to order, and they would watch me while I was cooking. I'm like, look, I gotta do what I gotta do.
Yeah.
I took my kids to Bonefish Grill. I got one kid was over there at the bartender. The other kid's over there hosting with the host. Like, it is what it is. Yeah. You want me here or not? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because I give it all. I give it my all wherever I do. And
they worked with you well whenever you had to do that.
Yeah, I got pretty good. Well, I had pretty good kids.
Yeah,
I got another one. I got a third one, the 2-year-old. That one there, run for your money. She would tear the shit up. You hear me? So we left her at home.
I know that life.
Yeah, that 2-year-old boy, she's up mouse. She's up mouse. So when you were saying like the joy that I get out of people enjoying my food, it makes it all worthwhile because. Man, I done had some nights where I've been cooking from 1 p.m. all the way to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
And then only to wake up, to go to sleep for 2 hours, to wake up at 6 a.m. to set up for this shit.
Yeah.
Like, people really don't realize a lot of stuff that goes beyond, like, goes behind cooking. I gotta buy the shit.
Yeah.
Prep the shit. Cook the shit. Store the shit. Reheat the shit up. Then set up for you to eat the shit. And people just like, $200 for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know why you're paying $200? You're paying $200 because I'm off of an hour of sleep right now. I made your mac and cheese with my eyes closed today.
Yeah.
That's why you're paying me $200.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
And that's got to be frustrating. Always having to explain. Do you have to do that a lot? Explain your pricing, or is it understandable for the most part?
Yes and no. Like, I feel like now the time that we're in, everything is high. So now I feel like if you don't get it now, like, you're retarded. You know what I mean? But it's like, before I did, because they're like, oh, well, I can go somewhere else. Go. Because you know what? I'm sorry that I have to lose you, but you're one less thing I don't have to worry about. You know what I mean? Because people who know my food and know the quality, they're more than willing to pay. Yeah. So I don't even take offense anymore. I used to feel some type of way because I undercutted myself. There was times where, you know, when you just coming into the game, you want to get everything you can get. So there's been times where I have done things on the, you know, for the free.
With people and you're giving discounts.
And I still work with people to this day because I'm a people person at heart. I love my customers, and I give out a lot of free food because at the end of the day, it's just food. Yeah. It's just food. Like, if someone was stealing food, like, they're stealing food. Like, it's not like they're stealing like money or like jewelry. It's food. It's nourishment. You know what I mean? Yep. So at the end of the day, it's money, but it's still like, I give leeway. I give out free shit all the time at my events. Like, especially people that wait, oh, I'm sorry, I threw a little extra chicken wing in there. That's just the type of person that I am. But sometimes I want people to value me. Like, because on Instagram, when those celebrity cooks and those people with thousands of followers and they're doing their private dinners, they're charging thousands of dollars. Easily. And you pay them, so why not pay me? Right. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't. So I'm starting to value myself a little bit more. Good. But it's definitely been tough because I shouldn't have to explain my prices because, like, this is a job. Like, I would like to make a living, be rich off of it, but this is just paying the bills. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it just pays the bill to make this food. Yeah. And they don't even realize that there's a whole thing going on beyond. I sometimes I'm paying to just keep the lights on in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I just explained how crazy my schedule is. I just hired an assistant. So now I'm paying for an assistant now. So all of these things are in the working. You know what I mean? You have good ears.
So the funny thing about this evening was that while interviewing Chef Lory, the doorbell to the studio kept ringing, and obviously I didn't want to stop the interview to go see who it was because I wasn't expecting anybody, and I was there alone with Chef Lory, so I kind of wasn't really interested in whoever was there. So obviously by this point you've heard the doorbell ring a few times, and what I thought I heard here was I heard somebody walk around in the studio, which startled me because I had the door locked and I just wanted to make sure everything was all right. So I get up, I take a walk through the studio, I check the front door, everything's fine. So I come back, I sit down with Chef Lory, and we just get right back to work. But one of the things I enjoy about this podcast is sometimes things just happen that unexpected. And at first I was going to cut this out of the podcast, out of this episode, but I said, fuck it, I'll leave it in. It's funny. It's something that we can laugh at. At the time I was a little frustrated, but I'm laughing now. So anyway.
Do we have an intruder?
No.
Oh, okay.
I thought I heard something.
I was like, you got good ears.
I was like, I really shouldn't be hearing anybody, but I just, considering the bell just rang.
Right. Better be safe than sorry.
You know, the one time Marquise and everybody goes to Harrisburg and I'm here by myself,
It's like,
this kind of shenanigan. What the hell's going on? And this never takes place when Marquise is here. Oh, Marquise listens to this. He understands what I'm going through. No, I'm just joking. I apologize.
worry about
Anyway. So where were we? Forgive me.
we were like understanding values.
Yes, valuing the not having to explain your pricing. And I think everybody that goes through entrepreneurial endeavors, business for themselves, where they have to value themselves in order for this to be worth it.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody goes through that. Like this whole like, well, how much do I charge? What's reasonable?
Right.
You know, I don't want to be robbing people, but I do need to get paid, and
Right.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that when I talk to people like yourself that are doing what they love doing, and all the great things that come with that, but also the hardship, is that it's difficult to explain that to people who aren't in that mindset. Like you could be. You could probably help by serving people who are in a business of their own and they don't question your prices because
Right.
they understand the logistics of it. They don't know what you do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like that community of people that are like, nah, dig it. Don't worry about it. Like, I mean, I'm going to pay this because you did it, and I'm going to, you know, represent you. And,
Yeah.
you know, that whole, and then there's people that are just like you just said, why am I paying $200?
$150 for a salad? Right. I had to watch every lettuce leaf on this motherfucker.
But, you know, it kind of like, it's how do I say this? Because I'm trying not to sound like an asshole, even though I don't really care what people think about me. But it's almost like, do you grow up in a bubble for your entire life where never have you ever paid for something that was expensive,
Right.
but to you it was just like there's people that pay thousands of dollars for a BMX helmet, let's just say,
Yeah.
because they're into that shit.
Right.
And to me, I'm like, you paid $350 for a fucking helmet when you could go to Walmart. Like, but that's my thinking. But I also understand, but I get that you're doing what you love doing, and that's the money that you're willing to pay. I'm sure if you had your own business doing that, you would be charging the same amount because you understand that business.
Right.
There's some people that just don't get that. And so I guess owning your own business and getting back to your point it's like this balance of like you just said, there's battles that I'll pick and there's battles that I'll ignore because you're probably going to be you go through that, I'm sure, almost every day. Is that fair?
Well, people are starting to get with the program now because at this point, you know, and it's crazy because I'm very hands-on and intimate with my customers. So I reply to every email, every text, every DM, you know what I mean? And I always treat people with respect. But sometimes it gets to the point where it's like, okay, well, you're not even worth me responding because you're being a jackass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I'll just get to a point where, like, if you're not comprehending it, then I'll just leave you to yourself to ponder that.
Yeah.
Because I don't have the time. I truly don't have the time to sit here and explain basic shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like you said, primarily my customer base has been, lately the businesses, the corporations, because they understand that they're paying for quality.
Sure.
And I'm okay with that because Soulfully Famous does it all. And at the same time, even though like I do want to be paid what I'm worth, I'm also a humble individual. I put in my time. Before I was working at Crispus Addicts, I was volunteering there every week. I was doing that shit for the free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I still sometimes cut people deals. You know, sometimes even when people message me and ask me for services, one of my questions is, what is your budget? So we can make
Fair
a menu
enough.
to accommodate you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I take that time, excuse me, I take that time out of my day to make sure you have an affordable menu, and then you decide to not even do the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're just wasting my time. So
Right.
now I should just charge you
Yeah.
a damn consultation fee
Yeah.
because you're wasting my time. I need to be paid for my services. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So,
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why people make those, add those fees, those
Yeah.
consultation fees, and now it makes sense. It's like, yeah, because you don't want to take the risk of being SOL and you've got no business, but
Right.
you just took 2 hours of your time, whatever it took, which is, it's still valuable. The community aspect of what you're doing, because there's a lot of entrepreneurs and there's people that are doing what they love doing, but it doesn't involve being involved
it doesn't involve being involved with the community. They can do this at home on their own. They're not really that invested. But lately, I have been talking to people, yourself included, who you're doing what you love doing, but the community is involved, like, and you welcome it, or it's more so like you get involved with the community. Do you feel like that, like what you do and the community go hand in hand?
Absolutely, because well, first and foremost, I'm a spiritual person, and I believe that the energy that you put out, you'll get in return.
Word.
So I honestly don't do it to get anything. I just do it because it feels good. So when I'm out here, I'm making these connections. And I purchased a trailer because Soulfully Famous was going to be mobile. We wanted the food truck, but I worked on the food truck. I rented out a friend's truck, and I did not like it. I was so turned off. I just hated the ins and outs. I was in Millersville for a little bit. I parked up on George Street, and we did it throughout the winter.
What was it that you didn't like about the food truck?
What it was, I didn't like the setup. The setup, first of all, it's too confined.
Yeah.
I have so much to offer. When people come to my stand, they don't even know what the hell to order because I got so many damn options. They're like,
that's good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not just chicken and burgers over here. You could get this, you could get this, you could get this, or you could get that, you could get that. So they're like, oh my God, I'll just take it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was too confined. You're limited on water. You're limited on gas. You're limited on electricity. I mean, I could have to wash my hands for like 1 second real quick because the water, you got so much of a gallon tank there, a 60-gallon tank or however much.
Yeah.
You're limited, and I didn't like it. Granted, we did do it in the winter, so it did kind of suck because it was cold.
Okay,
we had some times where our water was frozen, the generator wouldn't act right or whatever, and I just got tired of like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
And then you have to worry about electricity. You have to make sure your truck is plugged up if you want to leave your food inside. Where we were located, we didn't have plug-in, so we had to continuously take our food out and put it somewhere else, and we don't have our own commercial kitchen at the time, so I was driving all the way to the kitchen that I'm renting out just to drop the food back off, only to bring it back to heat it up. This shit was just too much.
Yeah.
I was got a damn headache, and I was like, I don't even want to do this shit no more. And another aspect that had played into me selling the trailer was I kind of enjoy my little tent setup. When I first started out doing my events, I was very ashamed of being in a tent. I felt like I was like undervalued. Oh, her little tent over there. What's she selling over there?
Right.
Chicken wing. The chicken wing lady. What is she selling over there? French fries and chicken nuggets. You know what I mean? And up pulls up these big boy trucks. Ooh, oh my God, that truck. But you know what? Them people wrapped around this little ass tent and they love every second of it. And it was an intimate experience because I got to see my customers. I got to talk to them while their meal was being prepared. They got to see the food. You know what I mean? And they get to see it made because I'm really out there frying. We have fryers. We frying.
Okay, gotcha.
It's the warmer season, so I'll do my street corn, and they'll see me spreading it on actually, and they love that. People like seeing how their food is being made. Yeah. So to me, along with the operations of a food truck, and kudos to everybody that has a food truck because, man, oh man, it's a lot of shit. Me and my little tent, take it down, put it down. Get it up. You know what I mean? But the food truck, it is a lot. We're talking waste, water. It's just a whole bunch of oil.
An investment within itself that you would have to be willing to take on, and it just sounds like...
And sometimes you don't even break even.
But you think, oh, really?
Sometimes you don't because sometimes you have to choose your events wisely. If you go to some neighborhood pop-up, I mean, you might not make as much. Or if you go to an event where they have 80 other million trucks there, you're just one of 80 other million. You have to be able to stick out. You have to have something that makes you. And that's why I do my damnedest. Every time I post, I try to tell people where I'm going to be at and how much I would love if they come see me because
to get
that turnover. Like I'm out here shaking the job. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get that money.
Absolutely.
So
when you said that, it reminded me. I interviewed Chef Oliver's, and he had mentioned to me the same thing about the experience of the
events
of the events and not knowing what the turnout's going to, thinking it's going to be something and it's not, and so it's almost like you have to like strategically plan it out. Like, okay, well now I'm going to remember that this place
Don't go back.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Don't look back.
And it can go good and it can go bad. You know what I mean? Because like you said, you're preparing for what you think. For one, me personally, I don't give a damn if they say 1,000 people going to be there. I'm only preparing for how much I want to prepare for.
Sure.
I love hearing the word sold out. Some people don't like, oh, we're sold out. Oh, I don't care. Sold out means I don't have to take shit home.
Yeah.
I love it. And you know what? Me being sold out, you make sure your ass is here next time.
There you go.
That's my strategy. I don't care.
Go, yeah.
We did Soulful Sundays at the Rockville outlet. Oh my God. We started at 11. We were sold out by like 2:30.
Okay.
And I did bring enough food, but we were at 2 different places, so that food had to be split out in different people. Granted, she said there was going to be 300 people there. I'm sorry. I only prepared for maybe 150, 175 because there were other vendors there. Now, not only am I giving other vendors the opportunity to make money, I'm also not coming home with any food.
Yeah.
And I don't like waste. And being in the restaurant industry, I've seen a lot of food go in the trash.
Yep.
And some restaurants won't even let you take that shit home.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's considered theft. So you just throwing it in the trash, but I can't take this home to feed my children.
Exactly.
So and it just really grinds my gears, a lot of food that goes in the trash. So I'm going to prepare what I'm going to prepare. I'm going to make my little monies.
Right.
And I'm out.
But you're making back the money that you expect to make. If you sell out, then you're good.
Right. And that's one thing that I do like about my tent setup is because it's more intimate. I feel like sometimes I have a better turnout than the trucks.
Yeah.
Like I've had trucks come over and inspect what you got going on over there?
Yeah.
What you got going on over here? I'm like, oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You know what I'm saying? We were doing our little thing.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Yeah.
And granted,
This is what I've been hearing.
like we had this, we went to this one event at Linnet's, and the guy, he did mac and cheese, and we do mac and cheese. We're soulful. We're never not gonna have that mac and cheese.
Yeah.
But they're like, yeah, I'm gonna get her mac and cheese over there. I'm sorry, dude, that you got just a damn mac and cheese truck.
Yeah.
Maybe you should have expanded your damn menu.
Yeah.
Granted, that is convenient for a truck, so I get the niche on that, whatever. You want to stick to your structure like that. But, ooh, baby, he was hot. He came over. He was like, oh, you don't have hand washing. And then I said, first of all, we have the facilities. Oh, that don't count. Bruh. I ran out of mac. Where you think I'm sending them at?
Yeah.
You. Like, I just sometimes...
Yeah.
This food truck industry can be a dog-eat-dog world.
Sure.
And it don't make no sense because I'm all for collaboration, never competition.
Right.
Whenever I see another food truck, I'm giddy. I'm like, oh my God, there's such and such. I've heard so much about them.
You think that'd be like that across the board? Like everybody kind of just being happy to see one another?
It depends. It depends on the companies. I've been embraced with open arms with some companies, and I've been like, they didn't tell me you was going to be here with some companies.
Wow.
Because...
But they heard of you.
Right. And you know what?
Okay.
And it's funny because it's people I didn't even know heard of me. I'd be at the restaurant store and I'm like, oh, how you doing? They're like, oh, yeah, I'm like, you getting... I just start random conversations with people, whatever. They're like, oh, I'm like, okay. And then my boyfriend, he's always like, you got it. Because my boyfriend, he always pushing me. Promote your shit. Promote your shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so humble. I never promote. They're like, you better tell them before I do it. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got a little company. No, she do Soulful. Soulfully famous in the motherfucking building.
There you go.
She's like, the lady's like, oh, you're Soulfully famous? I'm like, you know me?
There you go.
Holy
man.
shit.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Yeah.
So that feel good. My boyfriend, he's always on me. He's like, you better promote.
Good.
He's giving out cards.
What's good when you got somebody that in your corner that believes in you? My wife is the same way, and I completely relate to like, I don't want to. I'm getting better at it. Like when it came to the podcast, it was the one thing where I was like, no, actually, I think I can fucking do this. Where everything else I've done, I've been like, Felix, you're really good at that. I'm all right. Like, you know, I don't want to boast. No, it's not boast. It's hey, he can do this, and I'm like, no, I don't. You know, it's like the pressure's on me, and I don't like that. But with, you know, when you're doing something that you know you're good at, and you've got somebody behind you, and you've got people that have heard of you, now it's like this, like, you know, I'm right exactly where right where I need to be.
Even still, I feel like that. Even still, I feel like that little kid scared to get on the roller coaster because there's always somebody bigger and badder out there. Sure. Or just, I don't know, maybe just myself. I play mind games with myself that I'm just not good enough. But the people, it's been the customers, to be honest, because it's been a couple times I'm like, man, I'm ready to shut this shit down. Like, I'm over this shit because I'm tired. I don't know. First of all, a lot of the food that I make, I really don't eat because we eat it all the time. Like I'm tired of eating the shit. So so sometimes I don't even eat the shit because I'm like, yo, I don't even like know what people are talking about. Like it's good, but it's not like to die for. People are like, oh, this is the best food I ever had. And they be saying it right in front of their mom, and their mom's like, oh my God, how could you? And I'm like, I'm sorry.
You're like, sorry, mom.
Yeah, I'm like, so it's been times where I just wanted to pack it up and go, especially with prices going up. It was like, damn, prices going up again. Damn, I'm gonna have to either charge up or take the bite. You know what I mean? And even with tax, I had people coming at me for taxes. Oh, this one lady's like, you had to pay taxes. Yes, if I gotta pay Uncle Sam, you gotta pay Uncle Sam. Okay, where you think that 6% coming from? Yeah. I'm not eating that.
Yeah.
I'm already a small business.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, this goes back to having to explain people your prices. It's like
it's crazy.
All that's calculated.
So like, oh, you can't charge for tax. Yes, I can. Anything that has been modified, I can tax on.
Well, you can charge whatever you want to charge. End of conversation.
Exactly.
But like I said, some people have a hard time understanding that, and we will pray for those people because some of those battles, like you said, you just need to walk away from. Let's talk about real quick to wrap this up because this is a phenomenal conversation. The culture behind the food, because the African culture that I see you implementing into your food and representing it in your posts, obviously you're very proud and you're all in. Can we talk about how that plays a role into the food and the menus that you're making? Okay.
So this is a funny question because unlike Chef Oliver, Chef Oliver, he's from West Africa. Yeah, he has so much rich cultural history of the diaspora, and he has so much advice to give, and I love him for that. I just love him being on Facebook and sharing all his history.
Sure.
He's amazing. And even when I'm in a room with other cooks and they talk about their inspiration, how Granny used to be back in the day picking the collard greens and shucking the peas and all, I didn't have that. You know what I mean? I grew up in a family that was divided,
oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, my mother and my father, they're split, and they had issues in their marriage. And I was a kid that made sandwiches for my mom when she was crying. You know what I mean? And then she was a single mother and she had to work and pay bills. And I was the oldest and we had to eat. So I cook. I roll my sleeves up because we wasn't going to starve. You know what I mean? So a lot of my background in food is because I had to eat and I like delicious food. And sometimes I'm envious of people who have historical recipes and memories of being around family members and, because I don't have that. I'm cooking food that I enjoy.
Okay.
And that I want on my dinner table. Okay, every dish that I make is something that I would eat.
Sure.
And that's just is what it. Now, granted, I do implement soul food, Southern cuisine because it's Black people food. I mean, I can do other things. I personally love Asian food. Asian fusion, that's my thing.
Okay,
that is my thing. I love Asian fusion food, and that's what I do. So I'm a little different than the traditional soul food because I implement other things. We do barbecue pulled pork empanadas. Empanadas is not soul food.
Okay, yeah.
Barbecue pulled pork is, but empanadas are not. So we do twists. And then my barbecue pulled pork has Asian barbecue sauce in it with different spices in it. So I implement all different types of cuisines because this is food that I personally enjoy. You know what I mean? So I guess that's my gist of that because I do love soul food and I love all other types of foods too. I really do.
Yeah, that was and then these are one of those moments for me where I want to listen to this again, obviously, and take things from it. And I have these moments where it's like, I obviously assumed, and you're completely breaking it down. Like, no, it's not like that at all. Obviously, you are proud, and there's no need to explain that. But when you talk about your parents, that there was a split, and you had there was a tension and friction in your home life at a young age where you were tending to your mom and it was like let me just cook, and that's where everything kind of just stemmed from. So soul food, I mean, even though we're talking about soul food, it's a different type of soul food, like you just mentioned. It's nourishing your soul. It's making
people feel good at times where they don't feel good,
right?
You know what I mean? A lot of my food, a lot of the good food that I cook is food I made when I'm not feeling my best at all. I feel like I'm crying. in the kitchen, I feel weak. I feel defeated. And that food tastes amazing because I'm just pouring everything I have into this because it's making me feel better. Like cooking makes me really feel better. I think I get anxiety thinking about all the events that I have. And I don't know how the fuck I'm going to get this done. But as soon as I get in the kitchen, I'm just like, hey, I'm in the kitchen. I'm cooking.
Well, yeah, considering everything you just told me that you're doing besides cooking.
Yeah.
And you said, I mean, I remember reading something, you were booked. April, you announced that you were booked up until November?
And that damn post didn't mean nothing because they still messaging me. And like, yeah, okay, whatever. So, yeah, are you available May 16th? I'm like, bruh, didn't you see the post?
I politely said,
they're like,
thank you.
Well, I thought I was special, so I'm just gonna shoot my shot. It's like, yeah, let me try to squeeze you in.
Let me shoot my shot.
My dumb ass. Yeah, let me see what I can do. I got 8 different events, but I can make you number 9.
Yeah. So you're dealing with that as well.
Yeah, I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah, people pleaser, but you're busy. You're busy, and you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, it's almost like when you love what you're doing, you're putting it all. It just the pages will turn. And the book will be read or written, however you want to, whatever analogy you want to use. But doing something that you love doing and dealing with the small little, because everything that you're talking about that can be frustrating and draining. Really, it's just a small percentage of everything else that you're enjoying of it.
I feel like the scales definitely do way higher.
Yeah.
On the satisfaction of it, satisfaction level. So I'm just gonna keep on pushing and going until the goal is to have my own building that I can lease and have people wrapped around the building. That's the goal. That's what I'm working towards. That's why I'm working like a dog.
All right. Well, here's to you. And I got water, but it's bad luck to toast water. But if I was toasting, I'd be toasting to you. And I hope to see you. Now that the weather's getting nice.
Yeah.
And you start doing your events. I want to come out, my wife and I, and check you out, check the food. I know you brought some food here tonight.
Yes.
I know everybody isn't here, but I do plan on trying some.
You better and take some home for the lady.
I know. My wife will kill me if I don't.
You better.
So, okay, well, thank you very much. I don't want to hold you anymore. You've been patient. I appreciate it, Chef Lory. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
All right.
When I told you that Chef Lory was busy, I wasn't lying. I mean, she's doing so much work. And considering the fact that she's taking naps within these pockets of time and just to keep it moving, gives you a really good idea of how busy she is, the work that she's doing for the community outside of cooking, and then cooking for Soulfully Famous. When you're listening to someone's story and their journey and you're aware of how much work they do, then to only learn that their journey consists of so much more. I mean, considering the fact that she stopped cooking and then went to school for criminal justice, single mother of 2 children, working as a security guard, the pandemic comes, puts her right back on track to cook again. It's almost, those are the people that impress me, and that those are the people that inspire me because they don't stop. There's no time to be stagnant. You got to keep moving. Chef Lory is a prime example of that. And what she's doing right now with Soulfully Famous is so dope. I hope you enjoy this episode. I'm going to put the link to Soulfully Famous's page in the description of this episode. Also with her social media platform tags. I want to put, Facebook and Instagram links in there as well. Check her out. Check the food out. If you're in the Lancaster area, you got to know Soulfully Famous because the food is phenomenal. I can speak for myself because I had some. So that wraps up episode 31. I am excited to continue now to move on to the next one. Also, the intro and outro theme music for the Journeyman Chronicles is produced by none other than Soulful with Real Music and Films. The link for his YouTube page will be in the description as well. But look, y'all need to be safe and maintain focus through all 4 seasons, because this life does not stop, so neither do we. My name is Felix C. Arroyo, and these are the Journeyman Chronicles. Y'all be safe, everyone.